Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Noble-Forcey here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined once again with Paulie Malignaggi. How are you getting on, Paulie? How's things?
Good. How are you, man? How's everything going?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm getting by. Getting by, my friend. How was your Christmas, New Year? Have a good one?
Yeah. Everything is good, man. Everything is good. Looking forward to an exciting new year.
So let's talk about what's going on. You've got a ProBox TV show again every single month. You've got one on Wednesday, the 25th of January. Cesar Francis takes on Jesus Sriracho for the WBO Latino title. Tell me about this card coming up on Wednesday.
Yeah, we've gone through we've gone away from the weekend cards at ProBox TV, so we can allow us not to compete against the championship cards. So we figured we'd bring it to a midweek show instead, and that's what we'd be doing in 2023. And we look at it like this: we look at it like it's the stars of tomorrow that you'll be watching on the weekends tomorrow. You'll be watching them during the week on ProBox TV today. You'll be watching their rise to better to the top of the sport, and you'll be watching some guys arrive, and some guys will crash and burn, right? That's what we look forward to, bringing you the rise of these future stars on our network at ProBox TV. And then like I said, eventually we believe that some of these guys will certainly wind up on the big weekend cards that we don't want to compete against.
Yeah, definitely. To the main events, Cesar Francis, he's been in some really good form. He's taken on Jesus Sriracho, dangerous Mexican. We've spoken about Cesar before. What do you think that's going to bring? I know. Once again, we spoke last time about giving the opponents the right amount of time to get ready. Certainly done that in the main event. What I don't know too much about Sriracho. Tell me. What can you tell me about him?
Yeah, Sriracho is going to be trying to close the gap, cut the distance. He's a typical Mexican fighter who's going to be trying to make the fight. But, Francis is a big frame for the weight, a long jab. He knows how to use it. He knows how to maintain his distance, but he's also got a big right hand and a big uppercut, as we saw in his last knockout. So we believe that Francis is not only an exciting fighter, but also a fighter that's capable of moving on to bigger and better things. And we believe he's not that far off, honestly. So while Sriracho is a tough opponent, we're looking at Francis as the guy to sort of, if he looks in a certain kind of way in not only winning the fight, but winning the fight and once again impressing and being spectacular the way we know he can be. We believe he's right there on the cusp of a bigger fight.
Yeah, great division, by the way. The 140-pound division, stacked to the brim. Yeah, he's ranked 7, I think it is, with WBO. So yeah, big fight, big moment for Cesar. I see we got the Brazilian Jonathan Cardoso coming back off a defeat. I saw you have him on your podcast. Yeah, interesting one. He's taking on Jose Arellano of Mexico as well, 10-0, 6 KOs. So that looks like it could be a good fight.
Yeah. We don't believe in matching anybody really soft. We want to make some good fights, fights that are competitive and fights that are going to get people excited to watch them. And again, like I said, we're not competing with the weekend championship shows, but we do want to bring to people sort of the old Friday night fights feel or the old Tuesday night fights feel to the table, where those fights were good. They weren't on an elite level, but they were certainly guys that had been on an elite level and came down, or are on their way to elite level. So we believe in matching up these guys against one another, and hopefully, when they start winning fights against one another, they'll be moving on to bigger and better things. Cardoso was really impressive early in his career, and then he just had a shock loss in his last fight, got caught in the first round and got knocked out. But Cardoso is a guy that has a lot of potential to impress. He just has to shake out the cobwebs after that loss. I mean, that was a shock loss even to us, to him. But he's now, again, showing you the way ProBox TV is mechanized. We do not look to put you right back in there easy. We're putting him in there against an undefeated prospect, and it's sink or swim for Cardoso. A guy who, again, we really believe has the ability to swim, but the reason you watch these fights is to see, how he's going to come back off that knockout loss. How's the mentality going to be? Because he's certainly going to have a hungry guy in front of him. The guy's 10-0.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. And last one I want to talk about on this card, Oscar Alvarez, 7-0, 7 KOs. I haven't seen barely anything of him, to be honest. He takes on Nicolas Polanco of Dominican Republic, 20-3. So That's a big fight to take it 7-0 on paper anyway. Don't know too much
Yeah.
about either guy, but
Yeah, again, we're guys. We're at ProBox TV. That's how we want to. We believe in matching our fights. We want to. We're a network. We're not just a promoter. And because we're a network, we want to excite the fans. We want to bring them fights that they can look forward to tuning into, and we want to bring them fights that when their night is over, they're gonna say, "Wow, that was really worthwhile as a boxing fan to watch such good fights." You know, like I said, it's not gonna be always the guys that you know are household names, but these are guys that we believe some of these guys will be household names, and they're taking on other guys who are just as hungry and just as good, who also are vying for the same position and have the capabilities to reach the same position. So matching them up against one another, we really believe we're going to have the most competitive fights on TV, and also the most exciting fights, and fights that people can look forward to watching. You know, that last fight you mentioned, you know, it's another good fight. It's another good fight between, you know, a solid prospect and a solid veteran. Both are good records. They're both very, very hungry.
Yeah, looking forward to it. You can watch that. You can watch that for free, I believe, this one on Facebook and YouTube. And then if you want to sign up, $1.99 a month. So crazy good value. Crazy good value.
And we're giving more and more value for that $1.99 a month. You know, we have 2 live cards a month. We also have a lot of podcasts, boxing news, boxing updates. We're just constantly shifting the things around. And so, 2023 is going to be a big year for ProBox TV. We intend to grow really, really well and try to grow the sport, not just grow the network.
Good man, good stuff. You do the commentary on there. How are you getting on with that? You do it with Mike Goldberg.
It's been great.
It's pretty cool.
It's been great. You know, we had Chris Algieri on a couple weeks ago, recording some stuff as well. So, you know, it's been good. You know, a lot to look forward to with ProBox TV in 2023, and we believe a lot of fans are going to have a lot to look forward to as well.
Yep, brilliant. Well, fantastic stuff. Love to get your view. You're Paulie Malignaggi, so I need to ask you some questions on some of the stuff that's going on in the UK. Anthony Joshua linking up with Derek James. What's your opinion on that? Do you think that's a good thing?
You know, it could be, you know, we'll see. You know, training heavyweights is always a little bit different than training smaller weight fighters. So I can't rate the success that Derek James has had with the smaller weight guys like Charlo and Spence, and automatically equate it to success with Joshua. But he's certainly shown himself to be a capable trainer, a good trainer, and you know, there's possibilities could be endless. We'll see. I certainly think that Joshua needs to get himself back on the horse, so to speak. You know, he's got 2 losses in a row, so he needs an impressive performance. And sometimes a change of face is good. Sometimes a change of pace is good. And we'll see if Derek James is the one. I don't necessarily equate the success he's had with small weight fighters as guaranteed, but I do respect Derek James' knowledge and boxing ability as a trainer.
Interesting. What's the opinion of Anthony Joshua amongst boxing fans in, say, New York or Tampa? What's their actual opinion of him? Is he taken seriously anymore?
You know, Joshua was always a discussion as far as among boxing fans, but I don't think in America they ever viewed him as the guy, you know, like the guy in the heavyweight division. Because even when it was him and Wilder, most Americans felt Wilder would beat Joshua, you know. So I don't think he was ever the guy. But you know, there's always opinions on Joshua. He's a very well sold product, and he has been a very good fighter during his career. There's been a bit of a curiosity, but also the only time he came into the U.S. to fight, he also ended up getting knocked out. So it certainly didn't help his cause among the boxing fan opinions in the U.S. But nonetheless, he's a commodity among boxing fans.
Interesting. Finally, Paulie, I want to get your. It's a bit of a funny one. This sort of YouTube boxing phenomenon, which has kind of really taken off. These guys are making some serious cash, I believe. Jake Paul and Tommy Fury got made again. Yeah. What's your opinion on the whole thing? There's been a lot of discussion in the UK with this Misfits thing about, I don't know, maybe it being a bit cruel, some of this YouTube thing. Maybe a problem with society. I don't know. It is feeling a bit dangerous to me. What do you think? I feel like the sort of spark that sort of kicked it all off was kind of the McGregor Mayweather thing. I may be wrong. That's a bit more serious than what we're dealing with now. Obviously, you were hugely involved in that, and you were being quite cool in the build up until, you know, things happened. I mean,
I was trying. You know, it's very, very hard to make Conor McGregor look good as a boxer. But you know, before we had our outs, I did my best to sell him
Yeah.
in the best way I could. If you remember with McGregor, I was saying he knows. I was saying something that made absolutely no sense, but people never called me out on it. But it was funny because I knew I was making no sense, but because I made it sound complicated, I think people were just like were fascinated. Plus, they're all McGregor fans anyway, so they didn't even care. But I said something to the degree of he knows what he wants to do it and how he wants to do it, or something like that. But something that I knew made absolutely no sense because I knew he sucked, but I needed to make it sound good, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying prior to the issues we had. But yeah, I think you're right. You know, McGregor Mayweather was sort of the first sideshow fight, and I think these sideshow fights are sort of starting to pick up steam because you know people have this big popularity and they get into fight. You know, a really popular person gets into a fight, people want to watch it. It becomes like gossip, but actually using your fists. You know, something a really popular person says something bad about another really popular person. That's why they make gossip magazines, and then those have always sold for decades, right? So now a really popular person decides to get into a fight with another really popular person. You know what? People are going to watch it. That's what basically what YouTube is. YouTube boxing is. So it sort of puts the onus on mainstream boxing to get the fights done and get the big fights done and get the big fights signed because boxing has done, let's face it, boxing has done this to itself. They continue not to make the fights. They keep creating more and more belts so everybody can feel like a champion and they don't want to fight the other guy for the real title, you know. We've seen that in the lightweight division. Gervonta Davis has been parading around as a fake world title for years and nobody demands to see Gervonta against, you know, the main title holders, you know, because his network continues to sell him as a champion when he hasn't been a champion in years. So if boxing continues to do this, it's going to keep losing popularity, and of course the YouTubers are going to step in and they're getting a lot of popularity. So I do believe it puts some pressure on boxing to make the big fights, and hopefully it does. The sport does.
Okay, interesting take on that, Paulie. Thank you very much. Thanks very much for speaking to Seconds Out again. I really appreciate it. We love getting you on. We love getting your insight and finding out what you're doing at ProBox TV. So we look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Absolutely, man. Look forward to it. Take it easy. You have a good one.